All right, welcome to Takedown Tuesday, March 15th, 2016. With us today we have our three academic All-Americans, Paul Michelson, sophomore from Williston, North Dakota, Travis Smith, senior from Ripon, California, and Dane Fisher, Bismarck, North Dakota. Gentlemen, welcome. Right off the bat, I want to ask, what was it like balancing the school aspect this year combined with also wrestling for the University of Mary? So, Paul, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. For me, personally, it wasn't too bad. I spent a lot of time studying in the first place. My freshman year of college, I didn't wrestle. And then my freshman year of college, I didn't wrestle. So I knew what it was like studying and stuff. And I don't mind studying all the time. So after practice, I would go home and I would get a couple hours studying. And then, then I would think about wrestling. So for me, it was... I don't know, I focus on school a lot, so it wasn't too bad, I guess.
I had a lot of practice just balancing stuff. I had to work with wrestling. My program, athletic training, has me do a lot of extra hours, so I need to get at least 8 hours in there a week on top of schooling and wrestling, and so it was just a giant balancing act for me. It was great working with the professors, though, because they, as long as you talk to them, they'll let you work stuff sometimes a little bit later because you have other priorities.
All right, I'm an engineering student, so we typically have a lot of tough maths and sciences, and so this first semester was, and even now I guess, it's tough. I got, like I said, tough classes, and yeah, my professors will work with me if I can't get something done on time, and back when we were in season, getting extra workouts in were sometimes difficult, and balancing extra workouts with schoolwork is always going to be difficult. But you got to do what you got to do, and if that means staying up late to finish your homework and then cutting weight right after that, sometimes you got to do that. And I guess lack of sleep sometimes it's necessary. So.
What were some techniques that help you guys get through the academic year as well as wrestling as a full-time job, quote unquote?
Techniques, I guess going to the library, having a schedule is probably the main technique, I would say. Having a fit schedule, I would go to school, get all my class done, and then I would head to practice at 3:30. Then right after practice, I would try to head to the library up quick after I got something to eat, just because doing it right away, then I'm not going to put it off, until the next day, or just getting it done right away. Having that routine of studying right after practice and after I eat was a big technique that I had personally.
I used my phone calendar to organize everything. I had my lifting workouts, my practice schedule, and all my classes all put together, and then at the end of the day, I'd always schedule a little bit of time for homework, so I'd make sure I get everything done. So I got everything all together and organized.
My techniques are a lot different, actually. I'm not a very organized person, but I've learned to prioritize and decide what needs to get done, has to get done tomorrow or whatever by the deadline. In order to meet this deadline, sometimes I'll have to push some other unimportant stuff under the rug until I finish the most important thing and then move on to the next most important thing, And sometimes that means cutting weight to do third or fourth on my list of things, but it always gets done.
So the Super Regional Tournament wrapped up 2 weeks ago. Championships were this past week. You guys just want to touch briefly on how you felt you performed in the Super Regional Tournament?
Yeah, sure. Personally, I had a first round pretty tough match against the number one guy, Clint Poster. Going in that match, I felt like I had nothing to lose, and I went out there and he kind of took it to me a little bit, but that's kind of a learning experience. He's a veteran, and he had a mindset that he was going to come out there and beat me, and then coming back in the wrestlebacks, I had a pretty decent win. Didn't wrestle the best, and then I had another tough kid that ended up qualifying for the national tournament, and it sucks losing and not getting in the national tournament, but it's only motivation for next year, I suppose.
My first day, I felt I did really well. My first match was pretty easy, but my second match was a really close match against the number one guy, and I was able to sneak out with a win. But the second day, I just didn't have the same mindset and didn't wrestle as well as I should have against guys that I'd beaten before. So it was just a second day kind of lapse. And the unfortunate part was that it's my last tournament.
Yeah, myself, I went to the O2 barbecue. Was not happy about it, obviously, but I mean, you got to move on. I had a pretty tough draw my first match too. I had Matt Mincy from Mankato, who he's an All-American, but third, I guess. So he's a pretty tough guy, no doubt. But I still don't think I got beat the same exact way at regionals that I did in our duels. That's kind of disappointing, I guess. But my next match, I had Augie Kid, and I started going to the well too early, and before you know it, I'm down 15-0, and that's the end of the match. So, yeah, mistakes you got to clean up in the off season. So that's all I got.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us today. Fans, check back next week for another edition of Takedown Tuesday. And if you have any questions, send them on in to Coach Aho and Coach Eichmann, or shout out on Twitter. Thank you.